But I got a present in the mail via FedEx this morning. It's a letter from the attorneys of Stephanie Jones asking me to remove a video about her because apparently I am defaming her because I stated that Tom Brady has chosen to end his relationship with Jonesworks.
Well, you heard it from Katie Joy's own mouth. Katie Joy Paulson was served yet another cease and desist with a threat to sue if she does not stop talking about and defaming Stephanie Jones, who is Tom Brady's publicist. So what does Katie Joy do? Of course, she makes a post with this breaking news that Stephanie Jones threatens to sue her, and then she makes a video on YouTube and sets it for a premiere where she talks about and shows the actual letter and asks her chat to donate to her channel so she can fight Stephanie Jones and keep her reporting going. Oh, and remember how Katie Joy is not supposed to speak on Todd Chrisley because of that settlement agreement? Well, yep, she did that as well. So let's talk about it, y'all. One thing we do talk a lot about on this channel is Katie Joy Paulson's incredible propensity to piss so many people off, and that ends up in a lawsuit. She's typically sent a cease and desist, and in some occasions, she has chosen to ignore that cease and desist, as she did with 7M Films, and as we know, she is in current litigation, and that case is still ongoing, as 7M Films, Robert Shin, Miranda Derrick, and James Derrick are all suing her for defamation. She was sued by Tati Westbrook, and as we know, she was also sued by Todd Chrisley. Those last two ended in a settlement agreement, and as we know, Katie Joy Paulson has broken that settlement agreement with Todd Chrisley, which apparently she is not too worried about because she spoke about him again as she was discussing this new cease and desist with a threat to sue just yesterday. So we know she was sent a cease and desist by Stephanie Jones, but the very first thing Katie Joy Paulson did when she received this cease and desist is went straight to social media. Straight to social media to pretty much, in my opinion, brag about it. And in some ways, taunt and mock Stephanie Jones, the one that sent it to her. On her Instagram stories within this post, she actually wrote, "In case Stephanie is wondering, the information about Tom came from his circle, so maybe give them a call and check in so they know that you are still working with Tom." Well, this whole cease and desist was to have her stop talking about her relationship, her business relationship, her professional relationship with Tom Brady. Because as we'll see in some posts that Katie Joy Paulson posted, she claims that she, quote unquote, broke the story that Tom Brady fired Stephanie Jones as his publicist, which Stephanie Jones adamantly denies. Katie Joy not only made posts on her Instagram, she also made a video to talk about and to show this cease and desist letter that was sent to her by Stephanie Jones. Right away, y'all, like immediately made this video to talk about it and to ask her subscribers to donate to the channel by sending super chats so Katie Joy can then fight Stephanie Jones and keep her reporting going. So is she not planning on abiding by this cease and desist so she can put herself into yet another lawsuit? In my opinion, that's not what she needs, but I guess if that's what she wants, more power to you, Katie Joy, because to prove my point I was saying earlier, Katie Joy Paulson, I think, finds that if she's sued by these people with more power and recognition, that it makes her more important. Or she says in this post here, promoting her new video, talking about this cease and desist, it makes her famous, y'all. Katie Joy is now famous. She's famous for all of the lawsuits and all of her legal woes because she can't stop spreading false information that she says is the truth and defaming people and slandering people. But that's what Katie Joy does. But she calls herself a journalist. But let's look at another post that Katie Joy had said a while back, that being sued to Katie Joy is like a badge of honor. This just supports my statement that Katie Joy Paulson enjoys being sued, y'all. I firmly believe that she likes being sued. And even though she has spent well over $100,000, probably just alone in the 7M lawsuit, well, looks like she's ready for another one. And to prove the point about it's a badge of honor to be sued, here's what she had to say in her latest video yesterday.
Well, I guess I should be honored that she's threatening me. It says that they reserve all rights and they demand that I cease and desist my defamation of her. So, interestingly, it's interesting to get a cease and desist. It's honestly just sometimes a Tuesday in my life. I'm honestly just amazed she knows who I am. I mean, maybe I should feel happy that they know who I am, or I don't know.
Okay, so back to the post that Katie Joy made regarding Stephanie Jones and her threat to sue Katie Joy. She wrote underneath that post, "Breaking news, Stephanie Jones threatens to sue me. Jones insists that Tom Brady is still her client. Stephanie Jones also denies that she has retaliated against Jennifer Abel or ever smeared Blake Lively." She then goes on to talk about other lawsuits Stephanie Jones is a part of, and she ends the post with, "Stephanie Jones asserts that she acts with high integrity and runs a very successful business," which she does. "We will continue our reporting on the court cases and the allegations set forth in their court documents. Stay tuned." So she has no intention to stop talking about Stephanie Jones, clearly, so we'll see where this ends up. But let's look at the posts that Stephanie Jones clearly had a big problem with, along with the video that caused her to send this cease and desist to Katie Joy. So Katie Joy starts with a post that says, "Tom Brady allegedly fires Stephanie Jones due to Baldoni lawsuit." Now, I'm not going to get into all the details regarding Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, their attorneys, their publicists, etc. It's just a lot. And honestly, I don't know enough about it. I don't care to know much about it. So I'm only going to discuss what Katie Joy has said and what Stephanie Jones is saying is false. So here she says that Tom Brady fired Stephanie Jones due to this lawsuit. She also put out a video that has since been removed. And because it's removed, all that we're able to see is what she had stated the video was about. Her description for this video states, "A new insider has come forward to expose the shakeup that's happening behind the scenes with the Lively Sloan Jones mess. Taylor Swift's cooperation with Baldoni's team has sent the group into full meltdown panic, and the walls are closing in. Stephanie Jones was allegedly fired by Tom Brady, her biggest client, as former clients are disturbed by the allegations against her. Blake and Ryan are desperate to cover up their acts, and their entire scheme is on the brinks of collapse." And it shows that this video isn't publicly available any longer, which I believe means it was set to private and not deleted. And apparently, here is where Katie Joy felt she found the information to confirm that Tom Brady, in fact, fired Stephanie Jones as his publicist. So she put, "First headline since I broke the story, Tom Brady's former publicist." She then compares these two images where one states that Caleb Williams teams up with Tom Brady's former publicist, Stephanie Jones, for an image makeover in his second year. She compares it to the headline that she says was changed that originated as Caleb Williams teams up with Tom Brady's publicist, Stephanie Jones, for an image makeover in his second year. She posts this gloating and stating that she broke the story and that she was right, that Stephanie Jones was, in fact, because she is stating this as a fact, that Stephanie Jones was fired by Tom Brady as his publicist, and that this article proved it. So Katie Joy then made this post stating, "We broke the story. New headline today refers to Stephanie Jones as Tom Brady's former publicist." She goes on to say, "We broke the story yesterday that Tom Brady fired his longtime publicist Stephanie Jones over the legal dispute between Jones and Justin Baldoni. Today, a headline, Caleb Williams teams up with Tom Brady's former publicist Stephanie Jones for an image makeover in his second year. On the Sports Rush about the Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams lists Jones as Brady's former publicist for the first time." skipping through a bit, but Stephanie Jones had been Tom Brady's publicist for years. She is still listed as his rep on some pages for media inquiries. Our source alleged that Tom terminated his contract with Jones over the ongoing legal fight between Jones and Baldoni. The source also alleged that several clients of Jones have been disturbed to learn about her mishandling of confidential information and retaliation against former staff and clients. She ends with saying, however, Tom Brady was Stephanie Jones's biggest client and highest earning client. The loss to JonesWorks will likely be catastrophic. Also, you're welcome for the tea. It's spicy and confirmed. However, I don't know if it was, and Stephanie Jones certainly denies that this is the case. But thanks to Reddit, and this was on the subreddit for WOACB official, they found this on another subreddit. And basically, this is the actual author of that Sports Rush article. And here's what he had to say. Hey guys, I'm the original author of the Sports Rush article that's been circulated in relation to this story. Feel free to compare my username to the one that is attached to the article. Felt obligated to jump in here and clarify the situation so no one has the wrong idea. She is not the former publicist of Tom Brady. She did not lose him as a client. The headline was an unfortunate result of both me and an editor missing a simple factoid. I myself, more than anybody, am taking fault for this. The site and its editors are not particularly knowledgeable of the NFL and its ongoings all the time, as they are based in India and are outside of American culture. This was something that I myself should have known better to look for and catch out before sending to them. I simply copy and pasted the headline that I was given when I should have done my due diligence in checking it first. This is a humbling reminder to make sure that you are certain before speaking on something, in addition to a hard lesson in journalistic integrity. Apologies for any inconveniences this may have caused. So even if Katie Joy did get the memo, or even if Stephanie Jones herself stated, no, this is not fact, stop disseminating false information about me and my clients, Katie Joy was still active under other people's comments, whether it be in a subreddit or in this case, under her own post. Someone says, how did you find out Tom Brady fired her? Hopefully it was a reliable source. You are amazing. Keep up the good work. And Katie says, multiple sources, reliable. But Stephanie insists this is false. So she's just going to talk about it as it's a fact regardless. Someone says to her, just be careful with whoever you've been talking to. I think that's the main concern with your audience. People will say anything, you know? And Katie says, well, someone that works with Tom, very closely confirmed. But I guess it could be. Maybe he didn't renew his contract. Who knows? But that's the info, and Stephanie denies it. I personally have a hard time believing Katie has legitimate sources. We must all be reminded that Katie is not a journalist by true journalistic standards, has no education in journalism, and clearly doesn't stick by any ethics required by true journalists. So, is this source legitimate, or is someone feeding Katie Joy false information? So since Katie Joy did a video reading this cease and desist and talking all about it and, being a little sarcastic in her own right, let's listen to what else the complaint was regarding Katie Joy.
You state that Stephanie is responsible for smearing Blake Lively, betraying her former employee Jennifer Abel. This claim is demonstrably false. You state that JonesWorks' lawsuit against Miss Abel has enabled Stephanie Jones to destroy her competition and retaliate against her employee. You describe Miss Jones as so cutthroat that she would lie for anyone, backstab, and commit perjury. I think cutthroat might be, I don't know, isn't that like an opinion? Each and every one of these statements is false and defamatory. Miss Jones and JonesWorks have attained their high level of success because they consistently act with the utmost integrity, and their recent litigation was initiated for the reasons clearly set forth in the complaint against Miss Abel and others. Okay, so Stephanie Jones acts with integrity and she's a great businesswoman. Okay, and my intent here is making these statements apparently, which is only the latest in my pattern. Oh, okay.
So apparently they bring up Katie's past with being sued and the lawsuits and the fact that she's in current litigation, and it's all for defamation. And Katie, of course, gets defensive and does as she always does and explains how each one of those cases ended, or why she was sued, or how she was the victim in it all, and that it's still going on with Robert Shen. But a lot of it, every time you hear Katie tell a story about one of these lawsuits, it differs. So here's what she had to say that they are now. But again, it's interesting that they have to bring up how many times Katie Joy has been sued. And the fact that Katie Joy finds absolutely nothing wrong with it is just as mind-blowing. But let's continue on and listen to Katie Joy read this cease and desist to her entire following on the same day that it was received.
I have a pattern of defaming and harassing people online, and it's to damage her business. And it's consistent with my well-documented pattern that has resulted in numerous lawsuits against me. And apparently because 2 of my cases settled, that means that these matters are telling and reflect the indefensibility of your statements. Okay, so my lawsuits that actually settled without any monetary exchange, and no defamation was found in either case. That was the settlement. Tati Westbrook's attorney actually went public and said that no defamatory statements were made by me. That's what they said. And my other lawsuit that settled was the same thing. No money, no liability. It was literally just a mutual. We're going to withdraw these cases because you didn't defame us.
And this is just another question we should all ask ourselves, why Katie Joy is sued so much. And it's not just for sport. In my opinion, it's because she really does cross ethical lines and states a lot of things as fact that is pretty much unverified information. But when it comes to these settlement agreements and her past lawsuits, well, the only people that know the actual terms to those settlement agreements are the parties involved, and they're not speaking. So we don't know if what Katie Joy Paulson is saying is true or not. But one thing that I find funny is, remember how she was just going on and on about Todd Chrisley? And the video that I did before this one is all the statements that she said about Todd Chrisley after their settlement agreement. And she said it up until the day that he received his pardon from President Trump. She had everything to say about the Chrisleys and said their name very loudly with no issues. But now she's just referring to it as that case. She has not said his name again today, but she is speaking about him. She is. She's absolutely speaking about him. And why? It's really not relevant, but she has to make that argument. Because the damage is already done. Katie Joy has said horrible things about Todd Chrisley and broken their settlement agreement. So you might as well just keep running your mouth because the damage is already done. If you're going to bring him up, you might as well say his name, Katie. It's all out there. Again, just having to defend all of these lawsuits. And again, every time she discusses them, they typically have a different outcome. Sometimes she's won them. Sometimes they're settled. Sometimes she said different things about the settlement agreement. But nonetheless, what is Katie Joy Paulson doing to avoid being sued again? It doesn't seem like much. So she received the cease and desist. And here's one thing that she says she agrees to.
And I'm going to remove that video. And I must cease and desist from any further false statements regarding Jones or Jones Works. Okay.
So she did remove that video, and I did not see it. I did not watch it, so I do not know exactly what was stated in there, but clearly within this cease and desist, they list it all out for her, and that probably had to do with what she said in certain posts, but also stating as fact. Here's the problem with Katie Joy. She's stating these as fact, not opinion, and she made it as a fact. She stated as a fact that Tom Brady fired Stephanie Jones as his publicist. Now, those posts were removed off of her Instagram, but some other posts regarding Stephanie Jones weren't. So that's where I'm curious to see where this is going to go. Is Katie Joy somehow going to become professional and stop stating things as fact that she has not proven and then still fight it even though the person says, no, this is not true? I don't know. To me, it seems like Katie Joy has absolutely no intent to stop talking about Stephanie Jones. She even said she's going to continue her reporting regarding lawsuits and other business dealings. So, is Katie going to refrain from, as the cease and desist states, making any further false statements regarding Jones and Jones Works? Well, we'll see here in just a bit that the answer is probably not. But let's get back to her reading this cease and desist.
So apparently, I have numerous blatant, flagrant, false, and defamatory statements. I guess she says that Tom Brady is still her client. Well, I guess in the future, if we see that Tom Brady is no longer her client, we'll know if what I said was true or not, or what was said to me and the information provided. But she denies that clearly. She says they have not.
And she can't help herself. Katie Joy is still alluding to the fact that Stephanie Jones is lying about her professional relationship with Tom Brady. It's wild to me. And so, again, where is this going to end for Katie Joy? Because I really do think she likes being sued. I truly do. I think that because this woman is a publicist, she does PR for so many celebrities, that Katie Joy wants to be on her bad side because that puts her in the spotlight, that gives her attention. And for Katie Joy, I guess any attention, whether it be good or bad, is attention. And so by the end of the video, she has to circle back around regarding her lawsuits, because that's what she does. She talks bad about people. She cannot help herself, and she's constantly getting sued. Again, let's hear her defend this.
But I just want to reference something. It's really awful because she does mischaracterize that swift settlements of my matters are telling and reflect the indefensibility of your statements. Settlement agreements are confidential, but when Tati Westbrook and I settled, we were public about it and no defamation occurred. It wasn't a swift settlement, though, by the way. My lawsuit was actually dismissed. And then months later, we went through mediation. And at that point, through the mediation process, we all learned that I didn't defame them. And as far as 7M Films, I mean, are you going to defend a man that's being accused of human trafficking?
And I have to add here, being accused, okay? He's being accused of these things, mainly by Katie Joy. And he has never been arrested, charged, or convicted for any of these things that Katie Joy Paulson has accused him of. And that is one of the reasons why she's being sued by him.
And as far as the other person that you're mentioning, that also settled. But it wasn't because I did anything indefensibly. In fact, no money has exchanged hands ever. And the resolution was for all parties, meaning I countersued them and the lawsuits were dropped from both sides. And at that time, that person went to prison. I didn't defame them.
Again, she's talking about Todd Chrisley. She's mentioning everybody else's name, but not Todd Chrisley's in this. I just find it funny. Is she getting scared? Is she scared that now that he's out and he knows everything she said about him, is he going to come after her too? And is what she's saying true? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. There are a lot of people hoping that the Chrisleys are going to go after Katie Joy again for breaking that settlement agreement. She just can't keep herself out of lawsuits, y'all. She just can't. And this proves it right here, what she's about to say. It's like she's asking for a lawsuit, y'all. I think she wants this. I truly do.
Because you settle a lawsuit does not mean that it was indefensible. The same could be said for Stephanie is if you decide to settle, Stephanie, can I then say it's indefensible for what you've done because you settled? The quick settlement with that other account wasn't quick either. That case was in my life for like 2 years. And the Tati Westbrook wasn't a quick settlement either. That case did not settle until like a year later. And the Robert Shin case is still ongoing. And I refused to settle because I didn't do anything wrong.
Correction, Katie. There was not an option to settle. Robert Shin was never willing to settle. There was never an offer of settlement by 7M to Katie Joy. I would guarantee, though, that Katie would have settled if any offer was made. Anyway.
I mean, Tom Brady, if Tom moves on sometime, it's okay. We all have differences of opinions. And if he's still with you, great. I hope everything's fine. But I'm not defaming anyone. I'll tell you that. Not defaming anyone. And I don't want to be silenced by anyone. I just think it's interesting that now I'm the target. Blake is still going after Shasti and trying to claim Shasti is part of the smear campaign, and we know she's not. And now I'm being targeted for reporting about claims that are made in lawsuits, and I'm defaming someone, reporting on claims that happen in lawsuits. So what are your thoughts?
Well, I, for one, have a lot of thoughts, as I'm sure many of you do as well, but I'm sure it will not surprise any of you that Katie not only kept talking about Stephanie and mocking her, but as you will see, she now has added Stephanie's attorney to the line of slander. And this is why Katie Joy is constantly sued. I mean, what real journalist would behave like this? So here are a few posts Katie made following her video about Stephanie and the cease and desist. As I just said, this is why she is sued constantly. But more importantly, how does anyone take her seriously, y'all? Like, how does anybody take her seriously as a journalist with this childish behavior? I'm sorry. This to me is just, it's extremely childish. Because when so many would just stay quiet about a cease and desist, Katie has to share it to the world. I don't know, like it's a badge of honor or something, right? I mean, she has to show it to the world. Like, hey, look what I got. Another lawsuit. It's wild. So many people would just ignore it probably and continue on what they were doing. If they were going to ignore it, they would ignore it, continue doing what they were setting out to do. But Katie has to brag about it and taunt the person. It's so weird. All right, so this post here, she is talking about Stephanie Jones and Tom Brady again. Go figure, right? So here she is addressing Stephanie Jones' attorney, and she says, Kristen Toller, I know that you said Tom is still her client, and that's fine. But maybe Stephanie should talk to Tom, because someone from his inner circle is the one that confirmed this to me. But since you claim it's not true, maybe call Tommy and have a meeting. Y'all, okay. But honestly, why keep talking about it? And in such a condescending manner that, I mean, unless you really want to be sued, right? Like, why else? Unless you truly want to be sued, would you act like this? This is not how a reputable journalist would ever act. Also, I highly doubt she would ever be this bold in person. Not a chance. That's just my opinion. So here's another ridiculous post she made with this crazy arrogance on that same day. She says, I have a new headline. Stephanie Jones threatens woman-owned small business and independent journalist. That's so sexist and misogynistic. I mean, again, this is why I say I think it's so childish. And it gets even more weird from here, y'all. On this post, she says, don't worry, Stephanie. If you sue me, I'll just hire your bestie, Brian Friedman. I already sent him a copy of your letter to me. So Brian Friedman represents Justin Baldoni. That is Justin Baldoni's attorney and has been since like December of 2024. Now, he has also represented people such as Alanis Morissette, Bethany Frankel, Chris Como, Julia Roberts, Kevin Spacey, Linkin Park, Mariah Carey, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Downey Jr., Seth Rogers, Vin Diesel. But Katie Joy, y'all, Katie Joy, don't worry. She reached out to him. Not only did she reach out to him, she sent him a copy of the cease and desist letter that Stephanie Jones sent her, threatening her. So Katie now feels that she is on the same level as these high-profile people, and it's truly laughable. These people are used to working with real, established, credentialed, and experienced journalists. Although Katie Joy can technically call herself a journalist. She can, okay? But it doesn't mean people will take her seriously. So she can email and reach out to whoever she wants, but Brian Friedman? Okay, let's just move on. But yes, she reached out to Brian Friedman, y'all, and she sent him the cease and desist. Because I guess she truly thinks that this high-powered attorney that has worked with, some of the most high-profile people will defend her in her online shenanigans, let alone personally respond to her. I don't know. It's y'all, it's laughable to me. I'm sorry. I can't, y'all. Okay, but this next post may be the worst of all. She targets Stephanie Jones' attorney, y'all, and here's what she had to say. It's so condescending. She says, I got Stephanie Jones' attorney's autograph. She's very truly mine. And she put very truly in quotes. She's very truly mine. And what she's doing is she's making fun of how this attorney signed off on this cease and desist letter. And here's what she said with this post. I can't believe I got an autograph from an attorney that is so masterful at gaslighting in her court filings. I've never seen anyone so competent at mischaracterizing and misrepresenting the actions of people she's never met. Have you met yourself, Katie? Have you met yourself? Have you met Robert Shin? Have you met any of these people? Okay, moving on. Kristen's masterful writing often includes inserting wildly inappropriate screenshots of text messages that are out of context and or irrelevant to the argument she makes, because Katie's an attorney. Additionally, Kristen is skilled in name-calling and using demeaning language when arguing in her motions to dismiss with incorrect legal citations. She's telling this very skilled attorney that she's doing her job wrong. Kristen is also super talented in writing baseless and misleading cease and desists. These are my opinions of an attorney that has placed herself in the middle of a public court case and made herself a public figure by representing Stephanie Jones. Kristen's legal filings make me chuckle, and I often wonder if she's simply collecting a check and throwing whatever she can at a wall. Certainly, Kristen must realize that her misplaced screenshots and text messages are not appropriate and also allegedly illegally obtained via a sham subpoena. But at least I have her autograph now. Again, what reputable journalist would act so childish? Oh, there's more. So then she says, don't worry, friends. I forwarded the cease and desist to Brian Friedman. I think that it's important that they know that Stephanie is threatening journalists because this is exactly what Blake Lively accused Baldoni and Wayfarer of doing to journalists with no evidence. Yet, like maybe real known journalists, okay? But Katie Joy of Without a Crystal Ball? Then she says, these are my opinions. I'm a member of the media. My business is a small business. I was shocked that none of Stephanie's attorneys verified that I have a registered business in the state of Minnesota. I'm not just a random sleuth on the internet. Okay, listen, anybody can register a business pretty much in any state. You can file an LLC anywhere. Anyone can file an LLC. You can file an LLC. You can file an LLC. We all can file an LLC, okay? She then finally ends it with, freedom of the press and speech is a fundamental right of all U.S. citizens. And so she didn't even complete that last sentence, or maybe, I don't know. And then in the comments below this post, somebody says, if that's not the most unprofessional sign-off, I don't know what is. Surprised she didn't add XOXO at the end of it. Although, to be fair, it's not like they can use sincerely yours, because zero sincerity in these people. And Katie says, I've never seen an attorney sign a letter this way. But, and y'all are going to get a kick out of this, y'all. I couldn't stop laughing because Balls, the account Balls 2.0, which is, she covers everything Katie Joy on Instagram and Twitter. She let everybody know that, no, that's not true, Katie Joy. You have seen somebody sign a letter this way, and it's your own attorney. Katie Joy Paulson's attorney is Jennifer Moore, and look how she ended this letter. Yes, in this current lawsuit that she's in with 7M's, and her own attorney says, very truly yours, Jennifer Moore. But she literally made fun of Stephanie Jones' attorney as being, quote unquote, very truly mine. So let's go ahead and end it here for now. But I'm sure by the time this is uploaded, Katie will have made another ridiculous post trying to grip the attention of someone else of importance. Because to me, that's the only way Katie can get attention, right? By writing on the backs of people that are in the spotlight, whether it be for a good reason or bad. But let's all just hope that anybody with, such status and importance, that they use Google. Let's hope that they use Google and that they simply Google her name, because they will immediately see her reputation. And that goes for anyone, really, like anyone listening to this video, anyone. Google is your friend. So if they Google Katie Joy Paulson, if she reaches out to them and they really put in effort into researching who she is, well, then we're just going to see the same pattern continue, which is she wiggles herself in, she pisses everybody off, then she's kicked out, she's ignored, and then she's the victim, and then she'll make posts about being the victim. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and if you have not yet subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. Hit that thumbs up and that notification bell, and you'll be notified whenever a new video is released or if I decide to go live. Again, have a wonderful day, y'all. Thanks for joining, and I hope to see you in the comments below.